Okay, hi gamers. I'm making this mostly just because I'm really bored waiting for a raid to start, and also because I think it would be good just to have like one video spot where we could have like all the strats that we're using, because like all those other guides that exist all like loosely explain the mechanic, but aren't necessarily using the strats that we're gonna use. Uh, so this is the clear. This is my first clear of Ucob. It's with my main static Brinkers. I don't have my own personal POV, so we're just gonna use the ninja in the party. My guy Lin. Shout out Lin. He doesn't know I'm using his VOD for this, but whatever. Thanks. Uh, but yeah, it's a really cool fight. Um, and it's pretty simple when you get used to it. It starts off with a twister into a stack. Twister is just the mechanic you have to move. If you step on the thing, it kills everybody. But you only have 5 people take this stack because there's a lot of places that like you'll need LB for, and you won't be able to build the LB naturally. So you have to do some things, some kind of scummy things to cheese the LB. So like for there, we take a we have less people take the stack than should, just as a way to cheese more LB out. Then the boss got down to 74%, so it skipped an entire other phase of twisters and stacks. This will become really normal as we get used to the timings and stuff at the beginning, but at 74%, the boss pushes past any mechanics that it will cast after and just skips them and drops that Neuralink, the puddle on the ground right away. So as soon as that puddle goes down, right at 74%, as soon as the boss is able to move again, the tanks just want to move it to the next marker. Then there's 5 liquid hells that the fizz range will bait. They just have to go against the wall. Liquid hells are really weird. It's not 100% range based. So 15 yalms is the range where you become like eligible to take liquid hells. So anybody outside of 15 yalms will get randomly targeted for liquid hells. So to mitigate this, you just have one person only be out at that range, and everyone else stays within that 15 yalm range. Zura right here is like just barely inside of it. For the most part, you want to try to stay like closer in to avoid stealing, quote unquote, stealing a liquid hell away from the fizz range, because that could be bad. It can put it in a place that it's not supposed to be and whatnot. So everyone just stays like relatively close to the boss while the fizz range just walks around the outside. And then this is also where the first hatch happens. So you'll see Pingu, our samurai, has these 3 purple orbs going around him. So that means that he's getting targeted by a hatch, which is lore-wise like an egg, essentially, from Twin. And if it touches you, it blows up. And so you have to soak it inside of the Neuralink, that puddle on the ground that Twin drops. So Pingu will go, he'll backstep, he'll be out in that, and then you just have to be in there when the orb hits you. It does a small AoE around you, so make sure you're not close to that small AoE. The other thing about Neuralinks is standing in them gives you a massive damage down. It gives you a magic vuln down, which is why you can eat the orb, eat the hatch, but it also gives you a really big damage down. So if you're in the hatch, you don't want to do too much casting or whatever, because it does almost nothing. It does is like 0 damage. So it's like this weird balance between wanting to greed and also just wanting to like keep uptime, but also not wanting to wipe the party or do no damage. So you try to keep your time in the Neuralink as small as possible, but you really don't have to worry about greeting it. The DPS check just like doesn't exist in this fight anymore, even for us. So. But then the boss will do Death Sentence, which is a take swap, and a Plummet as well. For these, they're just kind of like the tank mechanics. Another generate will happen. This generate is special because it has a twister with it. So see Lin's outside and then he moves in to dodge a twister. He didn't get targeted for one there, but you just have to make sure on the second hatch and the 4th hatch that you move in to it, essentially, after the twister goes out. That's kind of a bad explanation, but so we pushed the boss to 44%, so it got moved again. There's another set of liquid hells, work exactly the same as the first one. Then double hatches. So 2 hatches will go out at the same time, targeting 2 random players, 2 random DPS. You just people will have like slowly set up their own like priorities for these. Like I usually favored 1. Like me and the range usually favored 1, and the melees usually favored 2. But people were flexible. You just use your eyes, watch where the other person is going, go to the other one. try to chad your position. That's like kind of an important thing in this fight, is to like just chad your position, but also you know, be careful. And then there's another set of liquid hells, but this one is different in that it doesn't just target somebody who's far enough away. It's completely random. So you just, and there's no like marker for it. There's no like way to know that you're getting targeted for it until like giant plumes of fire start appearing underneath you. So for the most part, if you're a ranged, like a healer or a caster or phys range, you just want to go along the outside wall. If you're a melee, you'll take it more from like this side of C, like under the boss, because it's still possible to keep like some amount of uptime while baiting those liquid hells. But if worst comes to worst, just play it super safe, run away, essentially. And as this is happening, there's another stack that's coming out that you also should only need 5 people, but we'll probably do like 6 or 7 just to be safe until we can trim things away. You don't need that LB until after Nail phase, so when progging, it's obviously just like more important to get the prog. Another set of double generates, followed by another set of liquid hells and twisters. See, this is the generate. This is 4th generate that had a twister alongside it. Then I'll do another set of liquid hells, and this is about when we'll start killing the boss. My group was kind of meta on our comp, so we were killing really, really fast. But, and I mean, we're just all good players, so we'll see. But this is the transition into Nail phase, which Lin doesn't do in a normal way. Yaku, if you're playing Ninja, you can do it this way as well. But for everybody else, we'll all stack on the 3 marker as soon as Twin goes away. We'll need shields, light mitigation, and then everyone spreads out because this is the first like pizza slices that appear. And as these pizza slices appear, there will also be 4 dive bombs on 4 random people. 2 sets of 4 dive bombs on 4 random people. So just make sure that you're spread out from each other, and as soon as one set of the pizza slices goes off, just dodge into it. And then the main tank, whoever had aggro of Twin, Nael will drop on them and do an AoE tank buster. Usually the tank invulns this because it does a lot of damage, and there's instantly a 5-hit tank buster directly after. So the invuln catches all of that, but just make sure that you're far away from whoever that main tank is. And then the boss will try to stay relatively north during this, but Nail phase is just, it's kind of overwhelming at first. It just happens really fast. People get targeted with debuffs, you have to resolve them. It's a lot of personal responsibility, and 90% just watching your debuff bar. So the first thing that happens is 2 people will get targeted with lightning. It could be any 2 people in the party. So it targeted Lin and Pork. At the same time, Nael is saying a quote, "O hallowed moon, shine your iron path." So O hallowed moon, anything talking about moon is going to be a dynamo, like a donut AoE around the boss. And shine your iron path means that it's going to be a stack right after. Or no, that's chariot. Honestly, I don't pay. Yeah, chariot. Okay, iron path is chariot. My bad. I have ACT triggers to do the quotes, and I will call out the quotes as well, but it's just as mechanic happening, there's quotes, and you have to handle the quotes as well. So this is dynamo into chariot, or in and then out, donut into big circle AoE. At the same time, because Lin and Pork have these thunder debuffs, they go and they create little Mickey Mouse ears around on the other side of the boss. So the whole party, for most of this phase, the whole party just wants to stay stacked, like really tight, and the 2 people with the thunders will go away from the party. So their thunders go off, the dynamo goes off, it creates like little Mickey Mouse ears, and then everybody has to run away because there's a chariot going off. At the same time, somebody's getting targeted with this fire tether, which the fire tether is a lot easier to resolve than you would think it is. Basically, there will be 4 fire tethers throughout the course of the fight. The first one stays in, the second one stays away from the party, and then the third and the 4th one can stay in. But so there's a bunch of dragons along. I'm sorry, this isn't scripted, so I'm really just flow of thought. There's a bunch of dragons around the outside of the arena, and they're throwing ice balls at people. Or one of them is throwing ice balls at people, and so you have to have the fire debuff to resolve an ice ball. And if you get 2 fire debuffs, you die. If you get 2 ice debuffs, you die. So that's why you have the in out in is because that will resolve all of the ice balls hitting all 8 of the players and the fire tethers having everybody safe. The only thing to watch out for is if you are the first fire tether, make sure that you stay out of the second stack, because then you'll get 2 fires and you'll die. Also, people are getting targeted with dooms, and the dooms are important because you have to watch the timers on the dooms, because there's another dragon throwing these white puddles on the ground that have these small little leftover puddles, and you have to stand in the leftover puddle to cleanse your doom. The magic number is 6 seconds. When there's 6 seconds left on your debuff, that means that the next puddle is going to be yours. It is possible to steal other people's puddles, so like the person with like the longest debuff, if you take, or the person with the shortest debuff, if somebody with a longer debuff takes a puddle, then they'll just die, and you murdered them, and it's your fault, and you feel really bad about it, and you have to apologize a million times. But it's all, just watch your debuffs. 6 seconds means go soak the little circle on the ground. Pay attention to where the 3 go out. Another set of thunders. That fire was taken out. The thunders go off. You just have to take the thunders anywhere away from the party. Make sure you're not hitting anybody. That quote was a stack followed by a dynamo. And also everyone staying close to the boss means that the doom puddles are going to get dropped also close to the boss, so it's easy for people to grab while still keeping uptime. Sometimes it'll bait out farther away, in which case, like, use your eyes, we'll call it. But yeah, it could be really tight. This whole phase happens just like really fast. More thunders are going out. People are resolving their dooms. This is the 3rd fire tether, so it's taken in. After this fire tether, everyone will spread out, because there's a quote mechanic that's a spread followed by a dive, or that's a dive followed by either a chariot or a dynamo. Again, I'll be calling that. So the boss will from on high descend. So it'll just like randomly target someone, and then it's a dynamo, so everyone gets under it. This is the 4th fire tether. It goes out. Everything's resolved. Doom puddles, thunders are happening at the same time. Yeah. It's a lot. It goes fast, but once you've done it, I think the Cleese guide also is probably better than my explanations here. Once you've done it a few times, it slows down so much. You'd be surprised how much it slows down. Raven's Back is a 5-hit tank buster. It's pretty brutal. Or Raven's Back is a 1-hit tank buster, but there's a 5-hit tank buster as well. Then there's dive bombs, which 90% of the time will be able to go B, C, D, the markers. It's kind of hard to see. But if you get this target above your head, it means that you have to like go bait a dive bomb from the 8 dragons that are around the outside. The pattern is 2-1-2, so the first person is baiting dives from the first 2 dragons, the second person from 1 dragon, and then the last person from the last 2 dragons. And that's starting from north, rotating around. So the first dragon north, going east clockwise, is the first 2 will be baited by the first person, the next one is baited by the second person, and then the last 2 are baited by the third person. 99% of the time the BCD markers will be safe, but sometimes it won't be, in which case I'll call like either like BD northeast or northwest or something like that. It's just pay attention. I'll call it. I'll be checking the dives, but 99% of the time I'll just say BCD dives is safe. At the same time, though, people are getting these hypernovas, so you just have to make sure that you're not standing in one when it hits, because they're a bleed and an instant death. Then there'll be either a spread or a stack. Lynn gets clipped by the thing. People take the spread. The phase is over, except you can't push past the 5-hit tank buster. If you die at the end of this phase, Lynn race here, which I think works out for him if I remember correctly, but you want to be really careful, because there's a big AoE coming that goes through Transcendence. So you want to make sure if you die at the end of this phase and you get a raise, don't click accept, just wait until after the AoE's gone out. But everyone will go to 1. There's another knockback. And then this is a tank LB. You have to have LB3 or LB2. If you have LB2, or if we have LB2, we'll call it out because the healers have to do extra mitigation. Like there, we only had LB2 barely by Annie, and we did extra mitigation, but it still killed Pingu and Brave. So it's just best to have LB3. But that was kind of our fault for killing it too fast. But before we could like build LB gauge, and we probably over mitigated as well. So that's just something to watch, something to be careful of. But usually you'll have LB3, which the tanks will hit after we take the knockback, the LB3. If it's an LB2, they LB before we knock back, but I think the tanks know that. Then this is trio phase, which is like mostly the reason I was making this video, because the way that trios are handled are like so different. Trios is cool because it's just burn mechanic, burn mechanic, burn mechanic over and over again. So like right now there's a tank buster happening, and then there'll be one more tank buster. The flatten is a cleave. Make sure, like all of these tank busters are cleaves. Make sure that you're staying away. And then quick march trio, where is a big use your eyes mechanic. The bosses go untargetable. So anytime that a mechanic is being handled in this phase, the bosses are untargetable. So the bosses disappear. You have to find where they are, and then you have to go to your quick march spot. It's kind of like in P3S, like when you split sides. This is why I call it quick march, if you've ever done P3S with me. But so everyone will go out. There's another twister that happens right as they dive. So see, everyone moves and it drops twisters. There's 3 on this side. Then DPS will either get targeted for an Earthshaker or a stack AoE. So Lin got a stack AoE, and then the 1 DPS and 2 healers will be targeted for the cleave, the Earthshaker is what it's called. So that's what this marker above Zura's head is. If you can kind of see it. 1 DPS will also get this. The DPS just goes north. It's on me up there, and then the 2 healers go east and west, relative of the dive. Everything, pretty much everything in this phase is kind of just like relative of how of where the dive starts, of like where the bosses spawn on the edge of the arena. So like north, south, the markers don't help a ton. Just be wary of like where the bosses spawn to do the dive. That's now north. So so the healers go east west. The tanks also are east and west, and the 1 DPS is north. The rest of them stack south. The rest of the party stacks south. And then there's also these wind AoEs tethers that the tanks have to grab off of people. So if you, as a tank, hate tether mechanics, I'm sorry, but here's another one for you. Both tanks have to have this. Don't be too close to the tanks when it goes off. It's that animation right there, that like tornado. It'll knock you back into a wall and kill you. Then there's another burn phase, some more cleave, tank busters. There'll be another AoE as well that hits the party. It's just good to mitigate. We'll have all of that planned, and then just be careful. Blackfire's coming up. And this is pretty easy, but also really easy to mess up. You just have to stand. You have to watch for Nael. So Nael came down right where Lin was looking, which is pretty lucky. But you have to look for Nael, and then we bait Liquid Hells as a party out to the edge. Take a stack marker. DPS split right. Tanks and healers split left. There will be 4 Heaven's Fall towers that have to be soaked by 4 people. And then also the other 4 people will get a stack marker on them. So if you have a stack marker, you go back to just behind where the Liquid Hells are, and you'll take a stack. The other people just have to use your eyes and go stand on this soak tower. For the tank and healer side, usually closest to the wall, the one like where we bait the Liquid Hells, is tanks, and then this one closer to the party is for healers, just so that the healers don't accidentally miss somebody with a heal or whatever. But so, see, like they'll go to the stack, and then the other 4, me, Brave, Zura, and Pork, are getting ready to go into this tower. But at the same time, Nael is throwing out Hypernovas that, if you remember, are a bleed tick that kill you instantly if you take it. So you wait for the second Hypernova. It's a weird timing. Well, I'll call it while we're doing it, but it's a weird timing. You just have to watch for the second Hypernova to be in the air, and then you move into the tower. So you'll see 1, 2, everyone moves in and takes the tower. If you accidentally bait the first one over the tower, you're going to die before the tower goes off, and it's a wipe. So you have to just be really careful. I'll call it, but it's 1, 2 in, essentially, is just watch Nael. Then there's a big AoE directly after it. Needs mitigation shields, all that jazz. And then another tank buster goes off, and it's just a burn phase. This is where buffs usually line up. So see, I'm in Raging Strikes. Battle Voice was probably late because I'm bad. Yeah, Battle Voice was just very late. Where did I screw up? That's not important. Then Fel Ruin Trio. This is another pretty easy one, but the Nael will do her first triple quote. So you just have to listen to the call out. It'll either be in like under Nael spread into the Neuralink, spread again, or it'll be spread under Nael into the Neuralink, spread again. So after you go into the Neuralink is always a spread. It's only the first two mechanics that change. But the party will always go to the Neuralink under Nael. The tanks will, or the bosses will always spawn on like random Neuralinks because we do the upside down triangle. So the party just always goes to the one directly under Nael. And then the tanks will take wind tethers to the other two Neuralinks. And so this one is under Nael and then spread and then Neuralink. So we'll go under Nael. Everyone spreads. Nael will do a random dive. The tanks will handle their tethers. Everyone goes on the Neuralink. There's a big AoE that you have to be inside the Neuralink to survive. And then there's another spread because Nael does those dive bombs. Then there's going to be a big fat double AoE. This is like the worst part of the fight for healers. It's a double AoE in this burn phase, followed by tank busters, and it's going into Heaven's Fall. This is right before the hardest mechanic of the trios phase. So everyone's just burning. There's some really weird timings, and then Heaven's Fall trio starts. Heaven's Fall is another big fat use your eyes mechanic. The bosses will spawn in a random spot around the room. You have to dodge a dive bomb, dodge a twister, bait big AoEs, and then go to the middle, take a knockback, land in your tower, do a toilet bowl around the arena. It sounds like a lot. It's not actually that bad when you get down to it, but it can feel like a lot. So the dive happens. Nael does not dive, is very important to know. If you are directly across from Nael, if you are the 4 in the 4th position, the 1 or the 4 position for quick march, because we just go to our quick march spots for these. So usually tanks, and then the like either a melee and a ranged or 2 ranged or whatever, just go north and south of Nael. Everyone else spreads. Then there's these 8 towers. Lin is 4 on the left. So he goes 1, 2, 3, 4. This is his tower. He'll take a knockback into the tower, and it'll resolve. But so here, wait, I'll go back even more. All right, so they go to the sides. There's the twister. Then everyone baits these AoEs. Don't bait these in the middle because healers have to go in to heal everybody because we all take damage. So make sure that the middle is safe for this, and also people just have to get a position for their towers. Then going back again, so the one under Nael is the 1 tower. The first, if there's not a tower on Nael, because sometimes there isn't a tower on Nael, the first tower to the right, clockwise of Nael, will be the 1 tower. This only really affects the people who are on the right side of Quick March, but it's just something to keep your eyes out for. The people on the left side just go first left of Nael is 1, 2, 3, 4 on the right. This is 1, 2, and then 3 and 4 are down here. So you just count whatever your position is in Quick March will be directly relative to which tower you take. And then for the knockback, this like little inside, it's really weird to explain, but once you're used to seeing it, it makes a lot of sense. There's all these branches coming out from the middle, and there's like the short branches and then the long branches. Where the short branches end right here, that's the knockback distance. So just look for the short branches, knock back into your tower, take it, and then all of these are going to be going around the outside. You can do this bait like Lin does, where you bait from the second into the first, or I just prefer you run in a circle around. But just be wary that there's also hypernovas going out. So make sure that you don't run into one. Just keep running around the arena so that you don't get one on you and then die to the tick. And then there's a stack directly after. We take a stack, and then there's a big AoE right after that. It's a lot of damage. It all happens really fast. This is 9 minutes into the fight. It's tough to prog, it's not fun. But once you're used to it, you're used to it. And it's really easy. You'll never wipe to it again. Also, there's a simulator for counting towers that I'll probably post. That Ichigo Chidori. I think they're on Ultros. They're all over like Ultimate PF. Super good gamer. Bless her heart. She made a sim that's like a third party program, like a game that you can practice in. So I'll probably link that. Uh, and then another burn phase, another tank buster. Uh, and then after this is 10 strike, which has triple hatch into another triple hatch into two sets of four earth shakers. So actually I might turn on the comms for this because so three people will get targeted for earth shakers. They have to go to their Neuralinks, and then after that, two or three other people have to go into the Neuralink to intercept another Neuralink.
100% fine.
So you'll hear somebody call like covering three or covering two or covering one. Or for the people who don't have mics, they just jump close to the one that they're gonna cover. Uh, so everyone spreads out loosely. People go to the Neuralinks, then take it. I just cut it myself off, but I called covering three. Uh, so Lynn takes it, Pork's covering one, and then we go in, take it because both sets of the three uh, hatches will target the same three people who take the first hatch. So it has to be intercepted because they'll have a magic vuln up and they'll die if they take two. And it'll wipe the party. At the same time, Nael's running around, dropping on people, hurting people. So you just have to stay spread this entire time and be really mindful that the Neuralinks there's an AoE when you soak a hatch, so just be careful of that. And then there's these four Earthshaker markers. The first set of people will spread around the 3 marker, just like this. This is a good lineup of how it's happening. And then the boss becomes targetable right here. And so the first safe spot is the 4 marker, north. This after these 4 go off, these 4 people will go into the 3 marker because that'll be safe. And everyone spreads, the 4 who aren't taking the first set of Earthshakers spread around the north Earthshakers, the north marker, my bad, in a box to signify who's going to go where. So this goes off, then the next 4 people run off, and the 3 marker is a safe spot. It goes off. And then you hit boss. That's like the last major mechanic. There's another AoE. Don't pop any of your cooldowns, your 2-minute cooldowns, because they won't be back up by the time ads phase happens. But 1-minute cooldowns, totally cool. Burn them, blow them, send it. But hold 2 minutes. Another tank buster. The DPS check for this phase is to get the boss below 60%. You're not trying to kill in trios. You're just trying to get him below 60%. Yeah, it's really easy. It's like the easiest DPS check in the fight, honestly. And then Grand Octet happens. For Grand Octet, really just listening to callouts is key. You want to find where Bahamut spawns and then run opposite Bahamut and then go either clockwise or counterclockwise depending on if he's on a cardinal or not. So he's on a cardinal here, so we're going to run to the right. Except also, Nael is the first one to dive, so you can't go, or we're going to run left, my bad. So Nael is the first one to dive. So we run to the side of Nael because Nael's going to dive, and then we rotate counterclockwise around the arena. We'll pop sprint. You want to watch if you get a bubble above you. Here, I might do this with the comms on as well, just so you can hear it, because you'll call out, not me, if you get a bubble above your head, because it's signifying who is going to bait Twin, and Twin is the last one to go off. That happens as other mechanics are happening. So we'll run to C, and then we're running left because he's on a cardinal. Lynn says not me. Not everyone has mics, so not everyone says not me. It's good. I jump a lot here. You turn on sprint, the dragon before Bahamut, which I'll also call that.
Can you call who it is? Oh, it is not me.
That's Zara.
Zura has to bait Twin. We tank LB right here. The towers still have to be soaked, but anyone can soak them. The stack markers don't matter. We just don't worry about the stack markers. and then there's another twister that happens right there, and that's the end of trios phase. We're moving into the second to last phase. Godspeed, God bless. Ads phase. This is the hardest phase in the fight, but in my opinion, by kind of a lot. It's really hard, especially because it happens like 12 minutes into the fight. So this is basically the first two phases happening at the same time with slightly less going on. So there will be triple hatches that have to be resolved, nail quotes that have to be resolved, twisters that have to be resolved, stacks and spreads that have to be resolved, all that jazz. Liquid hells. So first things first, the tanks take the two bosses together, get them against the wall up north. One tank will have each boss, but they'll have to swap. Liquid hells start happening that I'm baiting off screen. You won't really be able to see much because melee is like up here. Then triple neural leak. So we all go out, suck this. Twister is happening at the same time. I probably won't do too much explaining for this just because the guys will do it a lot better than I can. But yeah, it's really short. It's a short phase, but there's just like a lot of things happening, and too many deaths, you won't pass the DPS check. This is the only place where like I've ever actually failed a DPS check in this fight on like a real run. Another set of liquid hells, another set of quotes. I missed a heal. I remember that, so I died to that AoE. You just want to make sure that you go into the middle after the twisters and whatnot. Tank busters, there's a tank swap that happens. More twisters are coming up. And then another set of quotes, and then the phase is over. I also fucked up one liquid hell, apparently. I don't remember that, but it worked out. So we take the hatches. And then another quote is coming. See, bending iron, take fire, descend, whatever. So we all go to the middle. Then we all have to spread. And then there's a twister. And then everyone stays spread. And then the bosses die. That's the whole phase. If you want more explanation on anything that happens in this phase, please just message me and I'll explain. It happens really, really fast. But so bosses die. Bahamut kills all of us. And the run is over. Just kidding. Phoenix comes in and saves the day. This is like the big phase transition cutscene. It's very cool. There's a lot of music. Everyone's hyped. We all die. If you die at the end of ads phase, don't res because you get rezzed.
It's gonna be a shared one at the start, right? The first bus stop.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'll be covering judo there.
So you
So,
get
Buster will be at 4.
Phoenix comes down, saves the day for lore reasons.
Okay.
We're up, and Phoenix gives us,
Okay, food check if you need food.
as we all raise, bling 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 bling, super transcendence that gives you double damage.
Stay calm, we got it.
Phoenix's blessing. It's on all 8 players right there. Phoenix princess. So double damage, huge. If you die, you lose that debuff. So deaths in this phase are like way worse, and it sucks because your nerves are at an all-time high. You're like 15 minutes into the longest fight in the game. It's the last phase. All you have to do is not die and you clear. So like the pressure is high. It's a tense phase. Even now my heart beats when I get to it, and I've been there like 12 times or whatever, or I've cleared 12 times or whatever. So you this phase, more than anything, anything is a mitigation check. Mitigation has to be on point for this entire phase. The boss turns golden. Make it a Mount Square Enix, please. I need it. Then there's 2 things. There's Mornifaws and there's Akmorns. Mornifaw is a stack, a huge stack that hits the whole party, and Akmorn is a tank buster, multiple time hitting tank buster. Every time an Akmorn goes off, the next time it goes off, it'll hit more than one time. So yeah, this is pretty much just mitigation check. The tanks stay away from the tanks. That cleaves, that'll kill you, and it hits 4 times there, and then the next one will hit 5, the next one will hit 6, the next one will hit 7, so on and so forth. So we're all hitting boss. Exaflare start. You just do 3-to-1 dodges. It's pretty easy. Use your eyes. Pop sprint if you have to. If you ever have to do a 2-to-1 dodge, sprint is pretty much required unless you have like God ping. But just watch the edge of the arena for where the Exaflare spawn. Dodge into them. It's not too hard. There's another tank buster. This one will hit 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, maybe the first one only hit 3 times. And this hit 4. I don't know. I don't pay attention to the tanks. The tanks in this static are like way too good, and so they just handle everything. Another huge stack, fucking hurts. Bam. Yeah, everyone almost dies. You build LB so fast in this phase, it's crazy. But for the most part, you want to hold on to LB just in case if somebody dies. You need tank LB to survive the stack. So here people are doing a 2-to-3 dodge. Or a 3-to-2 dodge. The 2-to-1 dodge, the 3-to-1 dodge was kind of weird for that one. But you just watch, use your eyes, pop sprint if you need to. More stacks, more spreads. That's like all that this mechanic. There's 3 mechanics in this whole phase. It's like stacks. Like we barely lived that shit, and that's just like normal. That's with mitigation. Stacks, tank busters, exaflares. That's all it is for the whole phase. It's like a 2-minute phase, 3-minute phase. Just make sure that mitigation is on key, on point. Make sure that you're using your eyes. It's not bad. It's not too bad. It is the easiest final phase of the fight, but it is still pretty hard, and it can still really fuck with you. So you just want to be super careful. I'm pretty sure I died to this exaflare. Judo got a damage down. Tanks can survive it. Never mind, I didn't. I think I died to one of them. You can have a few deaths in this phase and still pass the DPS check, but for the most part, you just want everyone to stay alive. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole thing. It's just repeating mechanics. And then we cleared. I'll go back a little bit.
Yeah, it's a clear anyways. Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
Yay!
Let's go.
Don't tell Zura I told you this, but he started crying after we cleared this. He was so happy.
Why is it always like that, man?
Literally no fucking problem. Such an easy fight.
So true. So true. So true. Only facts.
So true.
Oh, even I know so true.
Congrats to all our triple legends.
This made most of us actually triple legends. Pretty cool.
Triple legends, let's
Triple
go.
legend.
Yeah, pretty exciting. Anyways, that's the whole fight. I probably didn't do a great job of explaining things there, but that was just like a loose like thought process on exactly our mechanics, how we're gonna handle our mechanics, whatnot. Of course, just message me if you want any more explanation, anything like that. This is like a 40-minute video, so if you watch the whole thing, fucking God bless, smooch it on your forehead. But it did not need to. Anyways, all right, Godspeed. See you all on raid.